Good morning. Welcome back to the morning walk. So guys, I don't have a whole lot to say today, so if you're expecting a astrology forecast, you know what, let me just go ahead and give you the forecast now. So those of you who just want the forecast can get the information soon without having to sit through the whole video. Assuming this is a long video, actually. It just started raining. Well, it might have been raining this whole morning. I don't know if you can see the clouds there, but so it may start to pour again. But anyways, yeah, so this part of the week we have some stuff with Venus going on. Today we have Venus opposite Pluto. And all this is in the weekly forecast, by the way. For those of you who want you know, the whole forecast for the week. But today, tomorrow, Venus is going to be opposite Pluto today, squaring up to Jupiter tomorrow, and the moon's in Taurus. It's essentially what we've got. So, Taurus is about taking things slowly, steadily, stopping to enjoy things. That's pretty much how I feel. I don't feel like actually doing a whole lot of work either. I do have some readings to do today, which I'll probably do, but I'm certainly taking my time. I'm going to go to the farmer's market today, get some good food. Taurus is also food, by the way. So the moon's in Taurus. It's really good for cooking, eating, anything else that's about enjoying a good meal. So yeah, so there's that. Could be a relaxing day. Good for kicking your feet up, stopping to smell the roses, as they say. You know, just taking time. So that's probably going to be the backdrop. And, you know, themes related to that. Buenas. So that, along with a Venus opposite Pluto, I've been feeling probably a little bit, yesterday I was getting some of that frustration yesterday. But I think that's probably because the moon was squaring up to Mars yesterday. But today, Venus opposite Pluto, could be a bit of that. It's kind of frustration. Like I'm kind of like a short fuse today. I just feel like I just probably wouldn't deal with too much bullshit if there was any. And usually oppositions just, you know, they're not like squares. They don't really like create a whole lot of tension. It's just mostly like, usually we're on one side of the spectrum. So in this case, you may be feeling more on the Venus side of the spectrum, which might feel more like there could be some things from your external environment that you may have to deal with that might be deep, or that you got to kind of face, right? So you'll be feeling like, if you're on the Venus side, you'll be feeling more of the Pluto of it. Whereas like for me today, I certainly feel more on the Pluto side. I feel more like Pluto in the sense that I'm just, you know, willing to destroy things. It's that kind of feeling, you know, willing to just destroy things, move things aside, remove obstacles, just get down to the brass tacks of things. So for me, I would probably need to bring in some Venus. You know, I just woke up, haven't had any major interactions today, but I could tell that it would be good for me to just have some tact, some conscious attention on actually connecting, and you know, that kind of thing. So you could be feeling either side of it. And yeah, so tomorrow with Venus squaring Jupiter, that's probably going to be feeling a bit probably a bit I don't know, buoyant in some way, either over or under buoyant with relationships. And Venus is also too, you know, just simply enjoying and valuing things. And that's what Taurus is about. That side of Venus is the Taurus side. So it'll be good to stay grounded, I think, this week in terms of like financial stuff. You know, being aware of any overspending, if that's possible for you. Anything that has to do with over enjoyment, over luxury. You know, that's probably gonna be more so tomorrow. And again, I kind of feel that. I feel lazy, actually. I feel lazy today. That's the word. That can be Taurus when it's kind of imbalanced, and with Venus in opposition to Pluto, squaring up to Jupiter, because she rules Taurus. That could probably be why it's more on the challenging side, or the unhealthy, imbalanced side of it. So yeah, with the square to Jupiter, overindulgence, or under. Sometimes it's under, you know, not taking the time to enjoy things and be grateful for things. So Venus is in some challenge this week, this early part of the week. I think later in the week, if I remember correctly, in the weekly, she does form some good aspects. I think with Uranus or something. Where is she, in Taurus? No, would it be? Yeah, maybe Uranus. I'm not sure. But either way, this early part of the week, she's definitely in a bit of a challenging aspect, which could mean to relationships, interactions, and anything we enjoy, or values, finances. I'm gonna go and turn around early today, just in case it starts raining. I don't want to be too far from the house. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Oh, the sun's gonna be over the north node tomorrow, so there could be some shifts with our life path. You know, I highly recommend, if you don't know where your north node is in your chart, in your birth chart, definitely check that out. For those of you who've gotten a reading, you know that in the first reading I spent a good amount of time on the nodes. And the reason is because I do believe astrology does sort of predict a theme. Like today is the theme of Taurus and these Venus aspects. But within that theme, I do believe we have free will. And there is a path. There is a path for each of us individually. And the nodes do a fantastic job of showing what these decisions are along the life journey. Where is that free will? And what is the path in many ways? I mean, not so specifically, but the astrology can help you confirm that inner guidance of each of our own unique paths. So, yeah, so the sun's going to go over the north node tomorrow, which means it could really activate, as it does once a year, but it activates this sort of new beginning about understanding something about our path, because the sun illuminates whatever it contacts. And so it can really illuminate the path, the north node. And that's where we're going to have the, you know, the next solar eclipse in about a week, actually. Yeah, a week. So next Monday will be a whole new beginning with the transiting north node. So mind you, there's the transiting north node, which is in Leo right now, which collectively for everyone is going to be about self-expression. But it always activates the birth chart north node, life path, as the sort of beginning of it. It's kind of like what sets the stage for then what is this new experience we're experiencing it. So in other words, my north node's in the first house, as you know, as an example. So for me, it's about me doing my independent thing, right? In a past life or in the past, I spent a lot of focus on either a relationship or pleasing someone, or that kind of a thing. And it kind of transpires in all relationships, right? So all interactions, I kind of have this, like, you know, wanting to find peace and harmony and all of that versus doing what's sometimes just right for me, which is, you know, my personal needs, which is the first house. So anyways, whenever there's something being activated with the nodes, like an eclipse or the sun over the north node, I got to be careful here because this is all muddy. It starts with something for me relating to my independence and relating to relationships or some interaction like that, right? Because 7th house is like the interactions with everyone. So my south node's in the 7th, north node's in the 1st. So wherever your nodes are, very important because of the fact that it is your path and it's just so important anyways. But especially when we have a lot of contact with the nodes, which is what we've got going on this whole time period with all the fast-moving planets around the north node. And the eclipse, of course. So check that out. I'll put, actually there should be a link down the description of the video for the birth chart calculator, so you can actually see where the North Node is. The North Node is the sort of right side up horseshoe, although I think horseshoes are like this, aren't they? So anyways, the horseshoe that's kind of curving towards the top, and then the South Node is the one curving towards the bottom. In fact, I made a video about it a while ago, a couple of years ago. So, you know, I'll just put a link to that video in the comment section, and you can check that out. It's got a link to the birth chart calculator. So anyways, the sun over the North Node could really activate the path and the direction, and you know, help each of us understand more about what our path is in relation to these whole new beginnings that are taking place with the solar eclipse in a week, right? So we are also too, we are in the third quarter phase of this cycle, which basically means that it's a challenging part of the week. So anything you can do to challenge yourself towards your node, okay, or your nodes, it's a really good early part of the week to do that. And so for those of you who are wondering when most of this Venus stuff lifts off and when we come out of this third quarter phase, which is more challenging part of the lunar cycle, you know, we'll probably feel that going into the weekend, right? And like I said, I think I recall some easy aspects with this weekend. But either way, it's a good weekend for listening, because Monday will be the solar eclipse, so it'll be good for that internal listening. All right, and then of course Mercury's still retrograde. Let's not forget about that. So for me, Mercury was, well, Mercury rules my second house of finance. So it was always something weird, and this time it was like I had two charges on my credit card. Well, one on my debit, one on my credit, and it was based on something that I had purchased before, and then it was another charge, so accidental stuff. And so I had to, it was actually quite easy, but I had to contact the companies to get the refund and all that stuff. So it's just always like this thing. So do check where Gemini is in your chart, and where Virgo is in your chart in terms of what houses, and those houses will show you essentially what's always going through this reworking with the retrograde Mercury. But of course, you can check your weekly to see which house he's going retrograde in. But yeah, he's still retrograde, so good to just be flexible, be willing to redo things, be patient, right? Because everything's just kind of in limbo and getting reworked, and, you know, stuff to redo with that retrograde Mercury. All right, everyone, so have a great day. Thanks again for tuning in. And yeah, maybe I'll see you this weekend for the next walk. All right, take care.